is she?
I know it.
Alfonso Cuarón's Children of Men unfolds in the now not-too-distant future of 2027, one in which humanity is on the verge of collapse after wading through a crisis of global infertility for 18 years. War and global depression have seen the demise of the world as we know it, leaving Britain as the only nation with a functioning government, one that has become an aggressive police state. Presenting global instability, severe restrictions on freedoms and civil liberties, infertility crises, revolution, and the breakdown of humanity, we come face to face with a world on its knees.
As the sound of the playgrounds faded, the despair set in. Very odd. What happens in a world without children's voices?
The infertility crisis, although a product of science fiction, tips its hat off to contemporary concerns of sharply declining birth rates among many global nations, including the UK, China, India, and Japan, to name but a few. Whether looking in the foreground at the apathy, confusion, and hopelessness of Theo and Jasper, or to the background at the government's collection of salvaged art, we see the inability of people in this world to move forward. They are literally being forced to cling to a bygone past.
You kill me. 100 years from now, there won't be one sad fuck to look at any of this. What keeps you going?
You know what it is, Theo? I just don't think about it.
In his iconic work, The End of History and the Last Man, political scientist Francis Fukuyama wrote that, in the post-historical period, there will be neither art nor philosophy, just a perpetual caretaking of the Museum of Human History. We witness this museum throughout Children of Men, and the collection of salvaged art is only the beginning. The environment of the film is quite literally the museum Fukuyama is talking about. The government and its people perpetuate the status quo of early 21st century life for as long as they can before it all implodes. What we see is far from the dizzying technological future that science fiction had promised us. Beyond a few high-tech trinkets hidden in the corners of the frame, humanity is decaying and on the brink of extinction.
There have been no cases of anyone surviving who has taken the preparation.
Daddy government hands out suicide kits and antidepressants in the rations.
With a director like Cuarón, known for his strong affect and incredible attention to detail, it's no surprise that Children of Men is a film imbued with mastery. What makes the technique on display here so perfect is that it complements the narrative and themes on display. Bleak grey colours set the tone of the film's long takes, with the handheld camera always placing itself firmly within the action, running in real time. This leads many to compare the visual style to that of a documentary, a fact further supported by its aspect ratio and the embracing of camera artifacts like lens flaring and shake. Displaying these traits in full force are two of the film's most memorable scenes: the extended 4-minute long take where Theo, Key and the fishes are ambushed in the car, and the long, unbroken take of Theo dodging the gunfire in Bexhill.
Theo's faith lost out to chance. So, why bother if life's going to make its own choices?
We follow Clive Owen's Theodore Farron, a former activist left devastated by the death of his son, living a quiet and deeply unsatisfied life where he believes that the world has lost its way. After getting kidnapped by the militant immigrant rights group The Fishers, helmed by his estranged wife, Julianne Moore's Julian Taylor, Theo is tasked with finding transit papers for a particularly important individual. Delivering the papers to Julian, Theo gets caught up with the Fishers and their VIP, Claire Hope Achete's Key. On the way to the hideout, the group are ambushed, Julian is killed, and when the police turn up, the gung-ho Luke opens fire.
Julian told me about your baby. Said his name was Dylan. You taught him to swim when he was 2. She said if anything goes spooky, I should talk to you. Said you'd help me.
Knowing that he has to continue Julian's legacy, Theo sticks around and Key reveals to him that she's pregnant. An absolute miracle, seeing as nobody's been pregnant for over 18 years. It turns out that everybody knows, but they're not all here to protect her.
If we have a baby, everyone will join us in the uprising. But we can forget about the baby if the girl even suspects we killed Julian.
Theo overhears Luke hatching a plan to use her as the catalyst for a Fishers-led revolution, prompting Theo to rush Key to safety. Heading to the only safe place he knows, the home of his cheerful old friend Jasper, played by Michael Caine, they hatch a plan to board an elusive ship known as the Tomorrow, part of the Human Project, which aims to ensure humanity's survival. As the Fishers arrive at Jasper's hideaway, Theo and Key escape, witnessing Luke killing Jasper from the tree line. Smuggled into the deplorable Bexhill by a crooked immigration guard named Sid, Theo quickly acquires a room where Key gives birth. Fortunately, quietly without any complications. Until morning, that is, when Sid returns bringing word that Theo and Key have a bounty on their heads, which he wants to collect. Not only that, but a civil war has broken out, plunging Bexhill into a literal war zone. Barely escaping Sid's hands, they're intercepted by the Fishers, who capture Key and the baby. Despite the guerrilla warfare between the factions, Theo makes chase and, guided by the sound of the newborn's cries, finds Key in a slum apartment with Luke. Reticent to let them go, Luke is killed in an explosion, and the baby's cries escalate, drawing the attention of everyone around. Then, in an incredible moment of awe, shock, and memory, the fighting temporarily ceases. With everyone gawking at the wonders of a new human life, Key, Theo, and the child are given just long enough to clear the battlefield. Boarding a hidden rowboat, Theo and Key float out into the port's fog in search of the tomorrow. Revealing that he'd been shot in the crossfire, Theo looks on as Key and her baby sail away, keeping the fire of hope alive in an otherwise hopeless world.
Dylan. I'll call my baby Dylan. It's a girl's name too.
Like the rest of Cuarón's filmography, from start to finish, Children of Men is utterly engrossing and exhausting. It's not just a minimal use of music and clever use of sound design to put us in the horrific shoes of the characters, but also the attention to detail in the set designs, purposeful cinematography, and tense portrayals of civilization in crisis that help give life to P.D. James's seminal novel. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film, so please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, come join our regular streams on Twitch, and yeah, if you have any other suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.